Hello, thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live. And if you're watching me on the replay, thank you. Thank you for spending some of your time with me while I share with you my sensual eating method to help you get healthier. Today I'm going to start by explaining the sensual eating behavior, and we're going to focus on the first step, which is gratitude. Sensual eating is a way of enjoying your food based on five senses. Our five senses are vision, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. It also involves taking time to chew your food adequately, to enjoy the food by having an environment conducive to eating, and expressions of gratitude. You can have it at the beginning, throughout the meal, and even at the end of the meal. The important part about the sensual eating method is that it allows us to connect the eating experience to the biological functions of our body and the gut-brain connection. You see, when you are focused on your body and the experience of eating, you will pick up those cues that could be overlooked when you're distracted by things like the television or talking on your cell phone. One of the big cues that you'll pick up on is the body signal that you've had enough to eat. So that's an overview of what sensual eating is. Now let's jump right into step one, gratitude. So when we talk about gratitude, some people want to know, why are we even thinking about that? What does that have to do with eating? It has a lot to do with eating. Not just that many of us grew up with our parents saying, don't you touch that food until you say the grace. No, it's much more than the grace, or that quick verse that we used to say, Jesus wept so we could hurry up and eat our food. Gratitude is much more than that. It's embracing your blessings, and it can be a spontaneous feeling, or don't feel bad if you don't feel spontaneously grateful, because it can be cultivated and practiced, and people call it counting your blessings. Studies show us that if you practice, you can cultivate attitudes of gratitude, and you will feel thankful for things that you probably just normally just take for granted. Things like your family, your loved ones, or your colleagues, your pets, nature, life in general, and our food. When we practice gratitude around the meal, we're going to pay attention to our environment, just being thankful that we have a place where we can sit down, which is an important step for sensual eating, and take our time to enjoy the experience of food. We'll be thankful if we have dining companions who are there with us, but not on the telephone. We want to get rid of distractions like our telephone, our television, working at the desk while you're trying to eat, or reading while you're eating. So we're focused on the experience of eating food. Now, gratitude is something that goes way back, and I like to start with the Bible. This is a medical ministry, and we're based on Christianity, but we are open to anyone who's willing to receive what we have to share. So let me get to that Bible story rather. It's the story of the prophet Elijah and the oil. Once there was a woman who was in debt, and she was about to lose her sons to the creditors. So she cried out to the prophet Elijah, your servant, my husband, is dead. You know that your servant honored the Lord with fear, but the man to whom he owed money has come to take my 2 children to make them serve him. Elijah said to her, what can I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house? And she said, your woman servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil. And then he said, Go around and get all of the jars from your neighbors. Get empty jars, many of them. Then come in, shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour the oil into all these jars and set aside each one that is full. So she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They took the jars to her, and she poured. When the jars were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another jar." And he said to her, "There's not one jar left." Then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God, Elijah, and he said, "Go, sell the oil, and pay what you owe." Can you imagine how this woman felt when she realized that her sons would not be sold into servitude, which is the same as slavery, because of a debt that her late husband had left behind? I have a feeling it was more than just a Jesus wept. I have a feeling it was a deep emotion. She may have even had some tears of joy, and it would have extended beyond her, where her neighbors would even see that this woman was so grateful and thankful that they had given her some jars that she could use. This is an example of gratitude. It's a deep emotional feeling from within, not related to money or our material wealth, and it exudes and extends beyond us. So I want to give you an example closer to home. Some of you may be aware that some parts of the country have experienced snowstorms. In Buffalo, New York, they had a blizzard, and there's a barber there named Craig Elton who was looking out of his barbershop window, and he saw it was a complete whiteout. If you've ever been in a blizzard, and I have, when there's a whiteout, you can't see much further than your hand in front of your face. It's very dangerous to try to move around during a whiteout of a blizzard. But in the midst of this whiteout, a man came and asked for a haircut. And Mr. Elton said, "This man must be absolutely crazy." And I guess after a while he just decided, well, we're both here, I'm going to cut this guy's hair. But then the lights were on, and another person came by just to get warm. But it was a whiteout, so it was too dangerous for this person to try to make their way back home. You can't see in a whiteout. And so that person stayed. And throughout the night, people came and they stayed. Some of them eventually got warm and left, but lots of people stayed in his barbershop. And he provided a place for them to get warm, a place to sleep, something to cover themselves so they wouldn't be too cold. And he also brought them food. I have a feeling that the people were thankful, but they became even more thankful when they turned on the news and learned about what happened to people who didn't have a Mr. Elton. More than 50 people died in the blizzard, and many of them died because they froze to death. Mr. Elton extended himself to strangers or people who may not have ever been patronizing his business. And he not only gave them a warm place, he gave them food. I have a feeling that this was a deep sense of thankfulness that came from within the people, and they will not forget what this man did for them during the blizzard. But also, it extended beyond the person that he helped. Mr. Elston also had some gratitude. I have a feeling that he felt a great sense of joy and thankfulness to be in a position to help people as he did on that night of the blizzard. So this is just two examples of gratefulness and what we mean about gratefulness. I want you to take some time and think of something that you're grateful for. And if you say, well, I really can't think of anything, because sometimes we don't appreciate our blessings until they're gone or someone points them out for us. So if that's your case, I'm going to give you the reverse. Think of something that you don't like, something that you say, I wish I didn't have this in my life. And for many of us, it might be your job. Think about that. You don't like your job. Now I want you to think of three things that that job allows you to do that you're thankful for. Maybe that job helps you provide a place for you to sleep, or someone that you love to sleep, helps you to get food, clothing, maybe pay for the gas in your car, gives you a sense of value because you're working, you're doing things. So if you can't think of something that you're grateful for, just do the reverse and then think of what good thing you get from this that you feel that you don't particularly like. And this is how you can nurture a practice of becoming more grateful for the things we have. So gratefulness is an emotion, it's a mood, and for me, it's a practice of faith and compassion. The next time, we're going to talk about the neuroscience behind gratitude and food. We'll talk about how gratitude affects your eating junk food versus eating healthy food. If you have some questions about gratitude or the free six steps to sensual eating guide, put them in the comments section below, or you can go to my website, drhamiltonstubbs.com, and use the contact us tab if you don't want to put it in Facebook, because I know some people may have things that you don't necessarily want to share with everyone, and I'll try to answer them in my next video. I'll do another video in a few days where we'll talk about gratitude a little bit more and the neuroscience behind how gratitude can help you on your journey to wellness. Thank you for your attention. I'm Dr. Hamilton Stubbs. I'm a double board certified sleep specialist, certified nutrition specialist, a medical missionary, and the creator of the sensual eating method that I'm describing to you tonight. I'll see you next time.